G'day fishers, welcome back to another weekly fishing report. Some good fishing this week actually, surprising with the weather that it's been up and down like a yo-yo, but some really nice fishing this week. The weather this weekend looks a little bit iffy. I think Sunday is going to be glamour, but as far as the weekend, the start of the weekend, a bit of sou'wester there on Saturday. It may drop off in the afternoon. All depends on what happens with this low pressure that formed out to sea. It's pushing down south. It will push up the swell, already has pushed up the swell, so just be mindful of that if you're going to fish the rocks or you're going to head outside. But anyway, Sunday looks like the pick of it. As usual, let's begin in the bay. At the moment, spoke to Paul off Fishport Stevens Estuary Charters. He's been putting his clients onto some really nice fish. Saw some photos there that he sent through, some really nice flatties during the week. Put one of his clients onto an 85 centimetre model, which is good for this time of year. Some big flatties still kicking around. I think it's all to do with that freshwater we had there a month or so ago, pushing some flatties down the lower half of the estuary. He also said he's been starting to get a few dewies around as well, so they're starting to make a move back into the bay, and some bream, which you'd expect this time of year. Plenty of bream starting to stack up around the place at the moment. So the Breakpool in particular at Nelson Bay, there's been plenty of bream starting to be caught there, as well as a few ludricks starting to appear there. It's a little bit early, but they will appear on that wall down there at the moment. The back half of the bay, like I said last week, up towards Soldiers Point, around those racks there, has been fishing particularly well for bream. They're starting to school up around the oyster racks there, anywhere from Soldiers Point up towards Karua at the moment. So plenty of bream around, plenty of bait up there at the moment. Like I said, there's plenty of white bait in the bay, and there's plenty of tailors. So some real small chopper tailor nailing people's plastics and hard bodies that are fishing for bream, but there's some bigger models in amongst them as well. So some fish up to a kilo, which is pretty good for Port Stephens in Taylor inside the bay. Still a few Watsons leaping bonito around too, so if you're keen for a spin on those, you'll see those charging around into the white bait as well. So some good fun inside the bay. Harley, he nailed an absolute cracker of a long tail during the week. He was spinning a surface lure, got a nice long tail inside the bay. He said they're very, very finicky and very, very hard. He said he's been chasing them a lot, but they are there. But like I said before, don't go trolling through them. You've got to cast at them. You've got to be stealthy. You can really, you can spook them quite easy inside the bay, but they are there at the moment. So bay's fishing pretty well. Might be a bit of a good one for Saturday, with the swell going to be up a little bit outside. So let's move on to the rocks. Now, there has been some good fishing on the rocks as well. Spoke to Guy. He actually got some really nice snapper, throwing some 5-inch gulps around the washers. He got fish up to 3 kilos. So it's getting to that time of year where the snapper will be getting in around those washers. So if you're keen on doing that, throwing a bait out, or even a plastic, and you'll do pretty well on the snapper around the place at the moment. Places like Boulder Bay, Boat Harbour fish really well for reds. Some nice easy drop-offs there, and you can get a feed of reds. Some good tailor around as well off some of the points. If you're keen on catching your tailor, you can spin for them with metals. If you want to catch a really big tailor, I suggest a whole gari on a gang at first light, at last light, slowly roll through the wash, and you'll get a nice tailor as well. A few salmon starting to kick around, so a couple of salmon being caught as well. I know they've been hassling the guys. They've been trying to live bait for the long tails, so there's a few salmon around, as well as the good old Mac tunas. They won't go away this year. There's plenty of them. Good fun for the kids, like I said. Great sport fish for a young fella or a young girl to get hold of and have a crack at their first big fish. That's a bit of a line burner, so there you go. So on the rocks, fishing pretty well. Suspect after this swell, the drummer and the bream will be really on in the washers. So if you wait for the swell to drop off, it'll be a good time to go and target some drummer and bream in the washers as well. On the beaches, well, bream has started definitely turning up on the beaches. Been plenty of those caught up towards the Fingal Spit, down off the surf club there. There's actually a couple of nice gutters there as well, so you don't have to go too far. And likewise, if you want to walk into Samurai there, you'll actually get some nice bream down in there. And I heard 1 mile's been holding a few at the moment. So beaches fishing okay. Your usual suspects are on the beach at the moment. There's plenty of salmon around. And like I said before, off the rocks, if you're keen to fish into the dark, you'll get some actually really nice tailor at the moment, and some good tides to fish the beaches this weekend, being early morning or first light, and then after dark as well. It might be worth a shot at a dewy off the beach this weekend. Now, on the offshore scene, there's actually been some really nice fish caught. Plenty of trag around, like I said last week. So there's plenty of trag around on the reefs. The big gibber, the 21. The Inner V hasn't had too bad a success on the trag at the moment. So all those usual suspect reefs, just sound around, find the bait. The trag won't be too far away. been a mixture of snapper in them as well, so some nice fish there as well. Spoke to Jamie during the week. He headed wide offshore. Got some nice kings, actually, some really nice kings. He was doing some deep water stuff with the electrics. Got some nice kings and some bark cod as well. So a bit of a mixed bag out on the edge there at the moment if you're keen on doing your bottom fishing. Some big kings around in the shallows as well. So if you're a keen stick bait fisherman, there has been some big kings around. There's a few Gari schools, obviously, you can imagine this time of year, around those shallower bommies. And the big kings are in there chasing the Gari. So if you're keen on doing a bit of stick baiting, then you'll get a couple of kingies as well. Now also, a couple of marlin caught on the shelf this week. Sam and Blake went out to the shelf during the week and went 2 from 3 on striped marlin. So still a chance to catch a striped marlin if you're keen, or even a blue out on the edge at the moment. So if you're keen on doing that, Sunday looks like a glamour day to do that. So I'd definitely head out there for a look. Anyway, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoy your weekend and score a few fish.